Welcome to a very special episode. After quite some time, the last time we recorded this live was before I went for the retreat. Today we are back, and from this moment on, well, Yogeshwari has been kind enough to grant me the permission to lead these sessions and also take care of everything in the back end. So, Yogeshwari, even before we get started to this for today's episode, just wanted to know how has it been so far when you have been leading it? How has the journey been? How has the response been so far? You've been taking care of the back end, and just because we are decoding every single thing publicly as well, documenting every single bit of it, I would love for you to share, to begin with, how has that journey been? What has been the response? How has people perceived it? What has been the views? If you can just give us an overall picture, and then we'll dive into today's episode.
First of all, as I'm not that great when it comes to juggling with multiple tasks and multiple platforms, I was having YouTube as a second priority. And my first priority was LinkedIn and is LinkedIn even now. That's why I had to transfer my responsibilities over to you so that you can actually do justice to it. So when I was uploading and I was doing all the backend work, as also I was not focusing more on learning about the platform. I just did what I already knew, and the responses were pretty much in the single digit. And but people who are viewing, they were going through the content for a long period of time. So that's a good sign, which means whatever we are speaking makes sense. That's a very good plus sign for us. When it comes to the other activities, actually doing what it takes to work on YouTube and make videos successful, I haven't put in the actual efforts that I'm supposed to because, again, if I do it, I want to do it the best way. I'm a perfectionist. Otherwise, it completely drains me away, so I don't actually focus on that. That's the major reason right now. For all of your information, Surya is going to take care of all the back end works. You're going to see a completely different energy altogether right now, and all the best, Surya.
Well, when we look at uh, the whole process of creating content, one of the biggest things that Yogeshwari and I we have realized is that the power of consistency. And at times when we, until and unless we are consistent, we will not really be able to see the results. Now, today's podcast is when we dive deep into the consistency part, which Yogeshwari beautifully has, and I very beautifully lack. Now, if you look at the kind of experience that we've had over a period of time, by the way, Yogeshwari is elder to me. Okay, so she I'm supposed to be, touching her feet and madam, all those things are supposed to be there. She's the one giving the ashirwad and all. Even in the professional sector also, Yogeshwari has a far more number of years of experience than I have. At this point of time, us recording this video, I will be completing exactly 7 years in the professional sector. Now, for Yogeshwari, I think you have what, 9, 10 years of experience. There you go. She's hit double digits already. So today's episode is when we are going to really open up on what has been our experience, what has been the challenges, what has been the good things, what is the corporate landscape that we have explored and experienced so far. And as a part of this, we will also get to understand what is it that we need to keep in mind as we are now venturing more towards full-time entrepreneurship. Combined 17 years of experience is more than enough for us to realize that we've experienced a certain aspect of it. We will share with you the pluses and the minuses, and then for you to take a calculated call whether you would like to stay with the whole corporate aspect of it, whether you would like to switch into full-time entrepreneurship, or you would like to do both. So we'll give you every single picture in detail, step by step, within this podcast itself. So we don't really have any agenda as always. The topic was just selected 5 minutes before we started live. So I want to throw the ball to Yogeshwari now, giving a sneak peek of how your career has been. Of course, if you go to our respective LinkedIn profiles, you'll get the complete detail of where all we have worked, how long have we worked, what has been the situation. It's all detailed out pretty much. but just from an outsider's perspective, a bird eyes view. Yogeshwari, take it away.
I've always been an average student since my school. Average student sitting in the middle of the class, noticed by no one. And that has become the part and parcel of my life where I just let things happen to me. I didn't really take control of my career. And then I scored a mark. In fact, in 10th, I was expecting a score, and then I scored pretty much near to it. In 12th, I was in two ways. I was not sure what is my strength. No one was there to guide me, so I just believed my principal who told me to take science. After venturing into it, I got to know that it's way too difficult for me. I'm not the one cut out for it. But still I have to finish my 12th, and I did that. After 12th, completely I went, let's say hello to one of our friends. So this is Mufasa. I was completely in a place where no guidance, no help, and I had to choose a path for my career within my graduation. Now, even that, I did it completely without any guide from anyone. I wanted to take computer science as my maths marks were very poor. I was not given computer science subject in the government college, and my family didn't have the ability to put me in a private college in the management quota paying so much of money, and I'm thankful for that, in fact, because why would I study something which is so difficult for me and curse myself? And then I took up English literature, saw my professors, got inspired by them, wanted to become a lecturer. However, I didn't know that to become a lecturer, I have to clear national eligibility test, and for that I have to study. It's an altogether a different game because it's a national level test. You have to compete with others, entire nation, and you have to score a certain percentile to get that opportunity. Otherwise, it's out of reach. And for that, I have to continue some more years of studies, which I was not in that position. So I was supposed to take a job to support my family. Now, when it comes to take a job to support my family, this is how I ended up. I just wanted any job. Now, how many of you started like that? Just type I in the comments. Any job. After graduation, just give me any job. We don't know what to do. Probably there are few people who did your medicine, you just wanted to become a doctor. Yeah. Yes, Surya.
So, Yogeshwari, you've so far given us the picture in terms of the. Oh, is that snowy? You are on mute. I'm not able to hear you at all.
This is Snowy, and all of them are here for the podcast today. Today is our lucky day.
When it comes to you sharing your side of the picture, I'll share the other side as well, because I come from the other end of the spectrum where mom and dad always pushed myself and my brother to work as hard as possible. And then when 12th, I didn't do that good. Mummy even literally convinced me to drop a year and apply for the medical entrance again. Did not get the seat, so finally BDS. Baba paid the management fee and got me admitted into the college. But then by the time I graduated, I started asking myself, what did I even learn in these few years? Because I still don't know how to get a job. First of all, I don't even know how whether I like this job or not. And suddenly I'm left with a degree, which in itself is such a big pressure, a societal pressure, a stamp. Because over the last 5 years, all the relatives and all knows that, oh, this is the guy who is studying dentistry, so definitely he's going to become a dentist. But we were just given a sneak peek theoretical knowledge of all the subjects related to dentistry, but we were not taught how to build a clinic. We're not taught how to get patients, how to make your first 1 lakh. How do you even earn back the amount that you've spent so much in the college? None of it was taught. And again, if you have to become a specialization, you have to pay some more money, clear some more tests. And And that also got me exactly to the same point, and that's why I loved it when you said that give me any job, because that is exactly where I was also at that point. I think back then, when my internship and all got over, I remember telling you that, is there any way in which you can help me find any job? And that's how we did end up finding any job. We also know how that turned out to be. So now I remember, again, I was just sharing my follow-up side and my side of the picture as well. Now you so far gave us a sneak peek of about school and college. Now, if you can give us a little more insights on what happened once you got into the job. How did you get the job? What happened as you moved into the phase by phase of your job? Yeah, over to you.
Exactly, as you shared, I have completed my graduation, undergraduation, and I have no clue how to get a job, where to get a job, what are the skills needed for the job. Exactly, clueless in the world. It felt like previously I was put into a track and I just have to go in the track like a train. And right now I'm in a maze and I have to figure out the exit, which I have no clue about. It took me almost 1.5 months after my graduation to find a job, that too not on my own. In fact, I tried applying multiple places. First of all, the worst thing is I did my graduation, English literature, bachelor's. My intention was not to become a poet, not to become a writer. And I was not even fit for that, eligible for that. My grammar was horrible at that time. My spoken English was horrible at that time. Imagine a bachelor's literature graduate, spoken English and written English was horrible at that time. I got internship in my final year with the recommendation of one of my professor in the Hindu. I did write a couple of articles, and those editors laughed at us. Thankfully, they were not scornful or they were not hurtful, but they laughed at us and they said, "It's good, but take it away. Can't be published." And that's when the fear started getting into me. And she even asked, "Do you want to work there? I can get you a job." I said, "No, I don't think I'm the right fit over there. I don't know anything there." And then I wanted to get a job. I didn't know where. I tried in telecalling. I didn't get selected. I tried every possible job that someone could imagine getting into. I didn't get selected. And finally, through one of my friends' recommendation, she worked there. In fact, it came through by my ex. So his friend worked there and he said, "Get her a job." And that's how I applied. And probably they pushed my profile. I was not sure, but she said that she'll inform her team leader to push my profile, and they did. I received a call. I went over there. After going over there, they asked me a couple of questions. The only skill that I had was speaking in English. Though it was a wrong English, I was so confident speaking in that. That was the only skill. They dragged a little bit, but they gave a thumbs up. It took almost 20 days from the final round of interview to the next step, which is salary negotiation and offer letter. And those 20 days was hell. I was like, this is the only job that I went till the last round and they are not replying. I kept calling them. Right now, when I look back, I feel how uh, the word that I'm able to remember right now is handicapped. How handicapped I was without having the skill, without having the knowledge, without having the techniques, nothing in the world, blindfolded, thrown in the world. Somehow got the job. After getting into the job 1 year down the line, I felt that this is not for me. I'm not enjoying it. It's way too monotonous. While I was editing, way too updates, it's difficult for me to catch up. So while I was editing, I tend to doze off. All of those things were there. And then I figured out this is not for me. I have to do something better. And I tried a couple of interviews. And that's when one interview, The interviewer directly told me, asked me a question on grammar, I guess. I don't remember the sentence. But she asked me if these two sentences are same, what is the point of you having an English degree? I felt completely ashamed. I took almost 1.5 hours travel to reach to the interview spot. While I was coming back, it was way too late, sitting in the bus, crying, asking myself, what did I learn all these years? Why am I not good enough? Why don't I have a skill which I can work on? At that time, no chat GPT, not even Google, no internet. Internet barely was there. We don't have any geo unlimited connections where I can search, browse, have the kind of right now, if you see, literally, I have multiple books in front of me and I keep going through these books. I have not just hard copy, I also have soft copy, I also have audiobooks, and I can upskill as much as I want, which I didn't have at that time. Whatever the school and college supposed to provide didn't provide. So I was wondering, and I stayed in that job for 3 years because I have to pay my bills, I have to support my family. I'm already 22 at that time. I cannot just while around. And that's when uh, I told myself that I have to do something. That's it. I have to do something. So I started investing. Started collecting pocket money, started investing in internet, used YouTube as my university. Yes.
It's very interesting. I'm so sorry to pause you right here, Yogeshwari. Just while you were sharing this, so many insights, and I just want to break the entire thing down between the boxes here. Now, you had that level of maturity when you were 22, you mentioned. When I look at myself, when I was 22, I was figuring out my previous relationship. And at that time, it was all about how cool can I enjoy the life. School, we were too strict, too many tuitions. At home, now I'm in Bangalore. All the freedom, no one is there to judge me or do anything, whether I study or not, doesn't really matter. And you have the peer pressure going in, right? My batchmates would go on pubs on weekends. Every month they would go for a tour, like all bike tour, and all those things are going on. We don't even feel like the need of doing anything. Literally feel like we are the kings of the world at that time. Now, cut to the point where we finally realize that mom and dad are not going to give us any more money. So we have to take care of our own expenses. So we take up whatever job that's possible just to take care of those expenses. And those expenses continue to increase. First, we get the iPhone, then we want to go for vacations, we want to go for pubs. All the addictions keep coming in, movie watching and all. We know how the commercial urbanization takes over and how we are seduced and hypnotized by the marketing and all those things that goes on, especially with social media coming in. Now, when you were telling about your story, there are a couple of very important insights which I felt, and please feel free to stop me and enlighten us more on this. The first one was, while we were in college, the parents expect the school to teach us the skills. The school expect the parents to teach the skills. Everyone is playing the blame game. The child unfortunately suffers, especially at a time when they're transitioning from school to college to now in the job sector. That's the first. The second, there are certain skills that you need to get the job. That itself is a skill. Nowhere taught across school or college, not even a single chapter on this. How to apply for a job, what should be your mindset, what should be your skill set, how do you upskill, what are the things you need to learn, how do you adapt yourself? Nothing. We are just taught all those subjects which we never even need. The third aspect, once we have the skills also sorted, we are expected to join the company and immediately get the hang of everything that is going on with respect to our job role, because companies have multiple problems and they hire one person to suddenly solve multiple problems, and all the problems are barged all at the same time. The fresher candidate doesn't even get that breather to take the time and learn that one skill. By the time they learn it, it takes 8 to 10 years. Now, the previous generation, at least, I mean, I hope it's okay if I can consider you as a millennial, consider myself as a Gen Z. Okay. So I'm just, I think I'm borderline. Oh, Mufasa is biting your hands, is it? Okay. So audience is going to get a lot of show of how cats it's difficult to deal with here also in today's episode. Okay. So it's not just about working out your way through, but you don't even have the toolbox and the artillery to face those challenges. Forget about solving them. And then obviously the emotional part of it also takes in, right? If you're doing something wrong, you are going to be screamed at, scolded, mocked, taunted, whatever it is. All these companies and managers, they're not really in that zone. Although a lot has changed over the last couple of years, but I don't think the fundamental issue has changed. There are only a handful of companies which we can genuinely say that they care for their employees. All they care about the company at the end of the day is how how much money are they making, the mission, vision, values, whatever it is. The fourth point from what I observed is it's not just that you want to move from that company to the other, but even to do so, you have to manage multiple fronts. Suddenly, you have the responsibility of earning money for your family to take care of your family, then you being in the job, you looking for better opportunities, upskilling yourself accordingly, positioning yourself, taking the time out, time management, problem solving, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, communication skills, so many multiple touch points. We are not even aware that these are the specific problems. It's just that we know the problems. The final point, what I observed, is the power of networking. Now, ideally, parents or the communities that we are a part of, if we look at growing up, what are the communities we are a part of? We have our parents, we have our relatives, mom's side, dad's side. Now, they are all established in their respective areas of life. But, like, ideally, what should happen is they are the ones who are supposed to be mentoring us, coaching us, helping us out on the initial set of steps. But suddenly, there is a weird hypocrisy layer that has just developed all by itself. Like, oh, he's going to figure it out no matter what. The parents, we don't need any of your help or assistance. Otherwise, we have to stay dependent on you forever for our life. At least that's what my dad and my parents used to think. So suddenly, we have to figure everything out on our own. And the only thing our parents keep giving us is more pressure. No, when are you going to grow? When are you going to do this? When are we going to? Again, it happens at a very, very subtle level. They're not directly telling us to earn money. They're like, what will we tell to the relatives and all that? These are the problems from what I was able to observe so far, from what I heard from you right now. I just wanted to decode that. Same thing for me as well. It's just that my side of the story is probably a little more different because I'm a little far too emotional. So I remember that when you ended, it was more about when you decided that, okay, I want to change the job, and I really want to start working on myself and start investing on myself, start saving pocket money. So yeah, please take it away. Over to you.
And that also when you were sharing, I was also reminded that we were told, imagine we were told when we went to college or when we went to the school, you finish your 10th standard and you are free. You finish your 12th standard and you are free. You finish your graduation and you can enjoy your life. No one ever told that the moment you step into your work, you need to start doubling down on your learning. Otherwise, you're going to stay stuck. While I was thinking that this is not the job that I'm enjoying, I am making a lot of mistakes, though I want to correct the mistakes. I'm not able to find a way to correct the mistake. I'm not getting the right support. Even if I ask for the support, there is a little bit of politics going over there. So I don't want to stay here forever. And I've seen people staying here, working in that same organization, in that same team for almost 20 years, and they are not going, they haven't gone anywhere. Not even a not even a respectful salary hike. And I still know I've come out of that job. It's almost 7 years right now. Still, people who have worked with me, who have worked before me, they are still there. and they're pretty much going to be there for their entire life. Stay in that organization, just do minor update, and if there is an opportunity to grow. If not, stay okay with that, because anyways the spouse is also earning. Go with the mediocre life. But I was not okay with that. So I started setting up, I started investing in buying internet. Now, when I buy internet, I can learn for free on YouTube. So that's when I started understanding that my English is not as good as I would want to. So I started going through multiple YouTube videos, creators who started speaking on English and how can I improve, multiple native speakers, multiple video clips, movie clips. I was binge watching and I started speaking. Now, how would I speak? At that time, I didn't know all of these techniques that I'm using right now. And we didn't have I wasn't even having a proper camera mobile at that time. I was just having a mobile that was good enough to play a YouTube video. That's it. So I used to take a topic and I used to stand in front of the mirror and give a speech. I used to imagine that I'm addressing a gathering and I used to talk. My mom used to laugh at me. My dad used to think she has gone nuts. How am I going to get her married to some other guy? So I didn't bother about any of those things. I just want to work on myself. And that's when an opportunity knocked my door. One of my neighbor, even my second job is through a referral, an insider's information. It was not an actual referral where they pushed my resume, but an insider's information. She worked in a school and she said that there's an opening. You can apply for an English teacher. So I applied for the exact, she gave me all the insider's information. This branch is opening new. If you apply, you will be appointed as a teacher for the middle school. So I exactly crafted my resume for that, for the middle school, and I applied. I didn't even have a bachelor's of education, BEd degree for that. But they were recruiting young teachers. They wanted some new energy, new ideas, perspective, teaching style. So they were recruiting. I gave my best in that interview. I've never done so much of preparation. I gave my heart and my soul. And she also gave one more insider's information. Pick a difficult grammar topic, present that. Pakka you're going to get selected. So I picked a grammar topic. I took almost a month to understand every possible nuances of the grammar topic. By any chance, anyone asks any question, everything should be in my fingertips. After understanding that topic, I created certain examples. I crafted my teaching materials. I crafted my curriculum. I practiced. How am I going to demonstrate that? Because as a teacher, you have to give a demo. That's your first round of interview. You have to stand in front of people. You will have a panel and you have to give a demo. I practiced it so well that they believed that I'm a professional teacher, though it was my first time. And what got me the job? My preparation. I prepared so well that as I was teaching, they stopped me in the middle and they said, enough, now tell me about yourself. I was already selected at that time. They just wanted to have a little bit of conversation. Where are you from? What do you do? Where were you? What's your interest? If you were given this branch, would you be interested in going? After getting selected, after coming into the school, the principal of that school told me, Yogeshwari, do you know I was one of the panelists when you were giving the interview? It's like, is it, ma'am? I actually don't remember. I honestly didn't remember because I was I had no clue what did I say in that presentation. I prepared so well. Everyone was sitting. My eyes were glued to them. They felt like I'm looking at them, but I was not looking at them. I was focused in what am I going to deliver. My ears were open. I was focused in what are the questions that are going to come. So I don't remember the faces. And then she said, when you came and you spoke, I fought and I demanded that I want only you for the branch that I'm going to. That's a new branch. Now, that was my first breakthrough, and I understood interview preparation is a separate skill. It's not something where, oh, I did my graduation 5 years, 6 years, and I can walk in and I can speak. I'm so sorry, you cannot. Because there's a technique, there's a way, there's a method to the madness. And Surya, I don't want to prolong this right now. I want to ask from you. When was the first time you felt like you completely messed up in the interview? And when was the first time you felt like I found the formula? When was it?
I think before I talk about me, there are again some points that I would like to highlight as you were sharing. Again, we get into the whole aspect of referral, the importance of referral, and how our network can actually create that kind of an opportunity. Now, you are speaking and you were staying at that point of time in Tamil Nadu, Puliyanthoppai, Chennai.
Yeah.
At a certain point of time where your neighbors were in touch with you and they gave you that referral. The part of Kolkata where we stayed, we have a term in Bengali called PNPC. Poro Ninda Poro Chorcha. People just want to gossip about others and talk negative about others. I think you forgot to unmute yourself. I was getting echo of my own voice. Okay. Right. So if that's the situation, then I can only imagine how worse things can become in different regions. Now, whom are we supposed to blame here? Is it our parents? Is it our society? Is it our neighborhood? It obviously begins with that clarity at home, is what I felt. Until and unless we sit down with our parents and tell them what the reality is, we will not be able to. Everyone is just pretending and hoping and praying and all of those things. Now, as you were sharing your story, I was reminded of the kind of conversation I had with my parents, how insanely difficult it was for me to explain to them what is it that I don't want, what is it that I want. And the only question after a certain point of time, the conversation wouldn't even go ahead. I think probably we'll prepare a separate episode on this. After I went home from Bangalore to Kolkata, packing up everything, going back home after the completion of my degree, the next 1 year was a hell for me. Even though I am back at home, because I don't have a job, I'm not going anywhere. People are coming to visit. They want to come and talk to me. They want to come and speak to me. All I wanted was I just wanted some freedom before I jump into the whole aspect of and use that 1 year to figure things out. But the way I was treated, I still feel it's inhuman. Everything is all good from the outside. So when relatives and all would come, yes, this is our doctor's son and all those things that they would be. But the moment they would go away, parents would be like, see, now we had to lie to them that you are still looking for job and all. Again, it's they themselves who set that bar so high. I didn't tell them to lie. I didn't tell them to tell all about whatever dreams and everything. Again, it's not their fault as well. People keep asking, when are you going to create the clinic and all of those things? Now, once you mentioned about the whole referral thing, the next aspect was about you doing that preparatory work. Now, it took you almost a month of in-depth preparation to finally come to the realization that interview communication is in itself a learnable skill. And isn't that crazy? Because that's something that every human being on this planet has to go through. Either as a startup, you're pitching your stuff to your venture capitalists. If you're into the corporate, you have to pitch yourself, sell yourself to get the job. But again, it's something that we are never ever taught. Now, keeping this in mind, right now, obviously, the kind of skills that we are working on, or the things that we are talking about on social media over the last 38 days and more, is all been about these kind of topics. Now, when I consider my aspect of my thing, the biggest thing that I can think of is when I approached one of our professors for a job because all our interns, they were getting some kind of a job experience. They wanted to get into a professor's clinic, work under them as an intern for a part-time salary, like all 7 days they have to go. The salary was 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees, that's it. 4 hours, 5 hours they have to work. So I went to the professor and he was like, right, she was pretty rude. Huh, you just barely passed. What other skills do you have that I can get you the job, that I should give you the job? And honestly, I didn't even know how to even organize the thoughts and speak because I was not even prepared. I very respectfully told, ma'am, I think after clearing 4 years, uh, it she hurt my ego literally, and that's what the professors have been doing all 4 years. Okay, they just break you down. I don't know why they do it. Some professors are really good. Some they're just not human enough. I would say I would consider inhuman itself. So I said, ma'am, uh, if I went through 4 years in the degree, and the fact that I'm here standing as an intern itself is the proof that I've done something right. I do not entertain the fact that you would demean me in a conversation where I'm looking for an opportunity. Thank you so much. I would respectfully take back the request that I had in front of you. Thank you for your time. And I walked out. This offended her. And that's when I knew I messed up the interview conversation big time. It was not just this, future opportunities also. My first 2, 3 jobs, I think you already know everything. When I joined, I wanted an immediate 1 week Durga Puja leave. I didn't even know about the leave structure and all of those things, probation period and all. And when they decided to fire me, I didn't care. I honestly did not care because we were not even taught. But then on the flip side, the interviews, which soon turned into a consulting call, where every single time I spoke, the leaders knew that I was speaking by aligning myself to the mission, vision, values, code of honor. That's it. That's when they were completely sold. But then again, the same problem comes in. Something that you were able to ace it. You are yet to mention to us what happened after your school. So probably will continue from there itself. Uh, but the last job that you were there, you mentioned that after a year you realized that this was not for you. The job was monotonous. Congratulations, Yogeshwari. You realized that after a year. For me, I realized all of that within the 6th month. It takes 3 months for the probation period to kick in, and then you actually start doing the work. When you actually start doing the work, the pressure slowly increases as you perform better. And what I have realized so far is if you're dedicated to your work, you are just given more work. You're not given more payment, you're given more work because the appraisal season happens once in a year. I never got into an opportunity where in one company I got a raise. I had to switch to a new company to get a raise. Never yet I have worked in a company for a year. Never. And that's not something to be proud of. However, the only thing is I cannot take it. I cannot take when I'm being pressurized, undercompensated, and overburdened. I cannot take it. It's against my code of honor. So there are some personal code of honor, there's a company code of honor, and then the individuals that are involved, your reporting manager, how they work, and whether you're able to resonate with them or not, what's working, what's not working, the pay structure, and all of those things. Lot of aspects are there. Now, I don't want to talk too much about me yet. You asked me a question, I give you the answer. Now I want to throw the ball back at your court. 1 year was your previous job. Now you got into a school and you already knew that you had cracked it. What unfolded after that? How long did you work there? What challenges did you face? And again, by the way, people you're watching, I hope you're enjoying the fact that I'm decoding every single thing down as Yogeshwari is in the flow of sharing her experience. I'm in the flow of noting down what are the things that we need to reflect upon and learn. So, yeah, Yogeshwari, over to you.
This is an interesting question that, yes, in my first organization, 1 year down the line, I realized, in fact, I wanted that job so badly. That was a crazy part. where I wanted the job. I pleaded the HR, literally pleaded the HR. I prayed so many times. I was waiting and praying to get selected. But 1 year into the organization, I realized this is not for me. And right now I'm able to decode why did I feel that. When I was in college, until I entered into my college, I had no clue how am I going to be in this world as an individual. Because all the way when I grew up, when I was a student, I was under my parents' protection. And I didn't have that thought process that I have to go out in the world and earn. While my college also, I didn't have that thought process that in the world, what am I going to be as an individual? How am I contribute? In fact, the weirdest part is after 10 years into career, after 10 years of education, right now I understand, especially after listening to a lot of leaders, that if you want to earn money, you need to create value. This concept was not even there in my head when I was in my graduation. So during my graduation, post graduation, I got a part time job. That too, again a referral. So all four of my jobs were through referrals. So my professor recommended me to her brother, and he needed an assistant. I became his typing assistant who helped him with all the documents. Two years part-time job, enjoyed nicely, didn't bother, and then I wanted a full-time job. Through my ex, got a referral, and after pleading for the job, got the job. 1 year down the line, I understood this is not for me. Now I realize why it is not for me. When I was in my college, I looked at my professors. I looked at the youngest professor and the senior most professor. Their lifestyle was so good. I studied in a government college. They used to come in the car. They used to dress up so well. They used to come sharp on time and leave sharp on time. No pressure at all. If they had a disagreement, they voiced out that disagreement. They had proper promotions. They knew that if they worked these many years, they would get that promotion and then their career is sorted. That's what I saw as a career. And that's what I wanted for myself. Unfortunately, I got to know in order to be like that, I have a couple of more steps to proceed with, but I didn't have the financial bandwidth. My family is not was not ready to give me that liberty. So I had to get into a job. And I also felt like I want to experience my corporate life. Got the job. 1 year down the line, I saw the company was going through, especially my team was going through multiple attritions. New people are coming in, people are leaving. This is happening in massive cycles. Every once in 2 months, a set of juniors would come in, spanning all the way from 7 to 10 juniors. And there would be 4 to 5 seniors leaving. Imagine the situation of the team. The team was always volatile, always agitated. No one actually had the skill to train others. In fact, the senior most, they didn't have the time to train others, train the junior ones. Junior ones all made mistakes, getting blasted from the team leader up and down. And I saw people who stayed in that team, people who came, they were not happy. People who stayed, they were not happy. They stayed because they didn't have that mindset to upskill. They were okay with that mediocre salary. They were okay with the occasional promotion whenever they were getting. They were okay with that 2% increment every year. They were okay with that life. When I was there, I saw myself, I asked myself, do I want this life? 10 years down the line in this same organization, in this same team, am I okay sitting as the same job position, getting just 2% increment? Will I be okay with that? The answer that I got within me was a big no. And that's when I started investing. in the YouTube, started learning. The same happened when I got my second job as a teacher. 1 year, I was extremely happy teaching students. In fact, I stayed there for 2 years. Both the years, I was extremely happy as a teacher. But was I happy doing the desk work? Was I happy with the culture that was going over there? It was not. I was happy interacting with students. In fact, the worst part is I was given a third standard, a room of 40, to be precise, 47 kids. Whereas in a classroom, 30 to 35 is the permitted number. A room where there is AC, but if you turn on the AC, it would stink more, it would suffocate more because of the number of students inside, and they were children. They would sweat massively. Every single teacher who goes inside, she would sweat massively. At the same time, there was one more classroom, fifth standard and seventh standard. The actual number of that room, students were 30 to 35. So pleasant to go inside and teach. I informed this to the principal. This is the condition. Is it possible to divide it into two classrooms? And the principal said, it's not in my hand. You should speak to the correspondent. Put this across to the correspondent. Let's see what is he doing. The correspondent who is open to all the ideas. When I shared, he looked at me, he walked away. And that's when I understood what hypocrisy is this. Should I stay here? Now, the second reason I couldn't stay there was as I didn't do my B.Ed. I was not a teacher who forces students to get the score. I was not a teacher who punishes them if they don't score well. I was a teacher who was listening to them. I was a teacher who was motivating them. I was a teacher who was trying to understand them. And between teaching and the desk work, I was way too caught up. I was not that great at desk work. However, when the appraisal time when it came, a teacher who was great at desk work, had perfect records, had no whiteners, the beautiful handwriting in her ledgers, got the appraisal. And the appraisal was conducted in 3 steps. First, suggestions, opinions, votes from the students, suggestions, opinions, votes from the parents, suggestions, opinions, and votes from the principal. I got to know, had I not gotten to know this, I would have been happy by now, I guess. But I got to know that I received maximum number of votes from the students and the parents. However, the principals, they were forced to choose, or they had to choose the one who did the best desk work. Because she was great at documentation, all colorful ledger work, beautiful handwriting, pleasant. So I was actually wondering, am I teaching or am I doing the clerical work? And do I want to force my children to get the perfect score? Do I want that? Or do I want them to become the best individual in the life? Yes, I understand scores are important, grades are important. That decides their career in the future, that decides the college in the future. But do I want to be a part of that rat race? My answer was no. And I asked myself, what is my growth? What does my growth look like if I stay here for 10 years? I saw that I did the same thing unconsciously. Nothing was planned, nothing was systematic, no one told me to do it. I didn't have a framework at that time. Right now, while I was talking, I'm able to organize my thoughts and I'm able to pull those information, put it in a way that, yes, this is what I did. I compared myself and I made myself envision myself. Okay, this person stayed in this organization for 10 years. There are two paths. One, become a principal. Now, in order to become a principal, uh, you need to have that ability to either present, we call here as visibility, credibility, build your credibility, build your networking. And how can you do that? They had a habit which system which I didn't like, which is they had a WhatsApp group. Every single day, the correspondent would put some information in that WhatsApp group. The one who is sending paragraphs after paragraphs as the reply gets noticed, which I didn't like because there were a few things that I felt that I wanted to share something contradictory, which is not appreciated. There were a few things that I felt I'm not interested in this topic. Why should I put the message? And I felt this was happening after the working hours. And by the way, the working hours was actual working hours starts from 8:30 and ends at 5 o'clock. That was the written on the paper, on the document. But we were working at times from morning 6 a.m., 5 a.m., all the way till 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Beyond this, we were given these tasks of messaging on the WhatsApp. The one day which I had for myself on Sunday, that's when all of these things would come. And I felt I don't want to be a part of this, which is actually the visibility activity. The one who posts more gets more visible in the correspondent eyes, and they get promoted as the principals and vice principals, which I don't want. I'm not interested. That one day is for myself, my family. And there is a proper time boundary for work. I didn't write myself as a slave to you when I signed the document. What is the other route? Stay as a teacher and just get mocked. Yes, they do mock the senior teachers who are not getting promoted. They don't respect those teachers who are okay giving time to the art that they are doing, loving the children. They are okay setting boundaries that I don't want these promotion, but I just want to teach and deal with the children and I want my personal time. Those teachers were not. And I asked myself, 10 years down the line, do I want to stay here? Do I want to become one of these two? The answer, my heart was screaming a big no. And then I decided, fine, so what's the next step? Next game plan. Before COVID hit 2019, I decided to drop my paper and I started pursuing my national eligibility test. 2019 December, I dropped my paper. And that's when 2020 beginning COVID hit and things happened. That one entire year I invested in learning for my exam. 2020 October, I appeared for my exam. I cleared it. Results got out in 2020 December. 2020 was a big turning point where I got to know a lot, where I invested a lot in my own skill, in my own learning. At that time, the only resource I had was YouTube. I used it to the max. I learned everything from YouTube. Whatever skill that I have right now, almost 60% of it is from, I learned it from YouTube. So right now, I didn't think my career in this angle. When I'm sharing right now, it feels scary, way too slow. Every decision that I took at that time, I didn't have this clarity, but something inside me told me to keep moving. And right now, when I look at it, scary. And I would like to stop here for your reflection.
Firstly, it takes a lot of courage to share this, Yogeshwari. So, big thank you. When we started this episode, honestly, we didn't have any idea where it is going to lead us to. And the fact that you shared this with this clarity, I'm reminded of this very simple aspect about life. A small little child that is born in the incubator and the hospital just got delivered, and the parents are holding the child literally in their hands. The child grows up beautifully. Why aren't we told at that time that we are supposed to go through all of these things? Why are we pampered so much? Why are we given all the toys? Why are we why do people come to us and wants to take us in the lap and all? The very aspect of being born as a pure, unblemished creature in this beautiful planet, as an organism, as a human, in a human form, from that moment itself hypocrisy strikes, isn't it? And then we go through weird stuff which doesn't make any sense over a long period of time, and we are told not to ask questions. Like, I remember getting beaten up left, right, and center by my class 3 class teacher. His name is Mr. Syed Ahmed. May he never experience peace. I just asked him, sir, what is the significance of learning geography? It was an honest, curious question, and he beat the trash out of me in front of the whole class. Why are we not supposed to ask questions? And if we don't ask questions, how will we even get towards the solution? Why aren't schools and colleges preparing us for this? The office politics or the hypocrisy and all of these things that we will face in our day-to-day lives. Now, as you were sharing, I'm reminded of the two extremes in the world right now. There is one company or one set of companies that really value and care about every aspect of their entire entity, whether it's the product, the people, the employees. Every single thing is meticulously taken care of, where the urge to go and work, it feels happy. I'm not even getting into government or private or any of these things. I'm just talking about the world as a whole. And those companies are very, very limited. And then you have the other end of the spectrum where it's all about all these things that you experienced, which we honestly have no freaking idea about. We are just expected to exist. It's not an accident that anxiety, depression, and all of these things have been growing over the last couple of years. It's just because of social media. At least it has amplified. People have gotten to know that something like this exists. For us to prepare ourselves, to work ourselves all by ourselves, is what is mandatory. Now, even when we want to do that, guess what the challenges that we face? The very basic necessities of life. We have to suffer through the different aspects of job. We'll come to entrepreneurship also in this episode itself, because I really want to hold the flow of this conversation. We are doing all of this just because we want a house to stay, where either we have to pay the rent or pay the amount or whatever it is. We don't have to worry about where we are going to stay. Number two, the food we eat. We need food to survive. And number three, clothes to wear, because we are social beings, and that's the social rules that has come in. Just for these things, we stay in that zone. And it's more like just a, isn't it the same as surviving like any of those stray dogs and cats, or the cockroaches that somehow keep hiding in the sink? That's what it is, isn't it? And yet we see the other end of the spectrum, where people are able to break through it all and create the life of their dreams. They're going for the vacations. They're really doing something that they're passionate about, bringing results into this world, uh, earning the money that they deserve. Which brings us to that perfect point right now. If you and I have experienced this, obviously, I'm not sure. I mean, tomorrow there could be a job, there could be an opportunity, there could be a company which really believes, and we are able to find such companies and all. But even in the entrepreneurship, the other end of the spectrum, when we decided, you and I together, I think back that the COVID phase, we were still into Toastmasters, working on our skills and all that. But even that was not enough, isn't it? We did earn quite a bit of money from the webinars, initial webinars that we did, but it was also not consistent. So now what happens at the other end of the spectrum when we don't have a job and yet we have to figure out the earnings? What has been that aspect of life for you? If you can shower some light on that as well. Over to you.
Good that you asked this question because I was actually creating so much of, I wouldn't say hype, it just came from my heart. And today I realized that whatever decisions that I took in my career, it was pure internal call. I didn't realize at that time, but I asked myself, do I want to become like them? When the answer was no, I was ready to quit. When I asked myself, like, do I want to become the principal who works so hard and gives everything, literally everything? They do the most work. However, the pay was not fair, I would say, but compared to the industry standards, they were paying pretty well. But the kind of work that they were made to do, for that, it was not fair. And I told myself, I don't want this life. I don't want to I don't want to do things that I don't like for the visibility and the credibility. There's an ethical way to do that. I want to be myself and then be visible, credible, build my spotlight and everything. So I stepped out, COVID hit, finished my exam, cracked it in first attempt, wanted to become a lecturer. However, all the colleges got shut. Now what? And that's when we met. We wanted to do a course together. We did. We sold. We did webinars. We sold. We made some money. But were we able to sustain that? That was an absolute no. When I wanted to look back honestly, whatever sales money that we made, it was purely because of your network. I was supporting you. I was doing all the other works, back end works, but you were the face at that time. And once we promoted it in our community, once we exhausted that community, then we had no clue what to do. Now, here, what I see is be it school, again, I see a pattern school, college, my first job, my second job, now entrepreneurship, everywhere there is either lack of information, lack of guidance, or partial information and partial guidance. Just to decode school, you finish schooling, college, you can enjoy, which is an absolute lie. You finish college, you get a job, you can enjoy. Another big scam your parents are telling you, and they have told you. Now, get into job. Once you get into job, you're settled. Now, if you think that if you have the mindset, which means you're going to be in that same position for next 10 years, and 10 years would go just like this, when you turn back, you will be wondering, how did I end up here? Why didn't I grow? Why didn't I get the promotion that I deserve? Now, what's happening over there? First, two, false information. Study hard, you are free. False information. Finish your graduation, you are free. False information. Get a job, you are free. Kind of partial false. Because if you get a job, you become an adult, you can earn. However, in order to, you cannot, they didn't tell that you need to grow in the job. They just told us to get a job. Now, what happens after getting a job? If we stop learning, if we stop growing, we stay stuck. Most of the mid career professionals are right now. And I see one more set of people, very limited handful of people. They're clear about what they want to do. They're clear about why are they doing it, and they get into the job. They see their rapid growth like this because every single step is well planned and plotted. They know I'm going to stay here for these many years and I'm going to learn this while parallelly I'm upskilling on that, and I'm going to hit that opportunity. I'm going to crack that, move to the next. Now, that clarity, if it is not there, if we get a job and we feel that we are settled and we don't have to do anything, then we will not do anything, will not grow as well. Now, that's a partial information. In the entrepreneurship, COVID was the time where all the. Do you want some water? Okay, have some water. So, COVID was the time where all the webinars and coachings and everything came into existence massively. Now, if you see, it was a false information and a partial information. Kind of like true, but not true to the extent where we can get the result just after going through that. Webinars are giving, the ad says, join the 60-minute webinar in order to achieve this. After 60 minutes, we'll be wondering, is this information enough? No, it's just the information you have to implement. When you implement, you there will be places where you will stay stuck. Now, that partial information made the entire entrepreneur journey prolongated for us, especially because we fell into the category where we didn't have a proper skill at that time. We didn't have the money, we didn't have network, we didn't have background, we didn't have anything. We started from the scratch. 5 years down the line, we started in 2020, right now it's 2025. 5 years down the line, we realized, correct me if I'm wrong, we realized that entrepreneurship, we need end-to-end guidance. Or at least we need to read a lot, learn a lot in order to work through it on our own and have a lot of time, money, bandwidth for that. Or we need a lot of money to outsource and to get mentors. First of all, we didn't have money. So we cannot outsource the tasks that we were not great at. We cannot get mentors who are literally good at their work, because if they are good at their work, obviously they're expensive. We need to respect their expertise. All we had was courses. And with those courses, we tried our best. The biggest challenge was mindset. What was the mindset? When we were introduced to the concept of entrepreneurship, we were told that do this for 3 months, you will achieve this. We were not told that that's once in 100 case. Few achieve results. You may not achieve results. You have to do this consistently without giving up in a proper way, get guidance, get feedback for a year or 2 or 3, but stay put, you will get through. No one told that. So what did we do? Every 3 months we were sprinting and we were setting unrealistic expectations. Within a month, you can earn 3 lakhs. So we wanted to earn 3 lakhs within a month, but we didn't have the foundations for that, which is possible, but we didn't have the foundations for that. So we were cursing and blaming ourselves, like, why couldn't I do it? Okay, next month, I'm going to earn 3 lakhs. And that went for 5 years. After 5 years, right now, after going through the endless tornadoes and bashing forth and literally having bare minimum finances to survive, deciding that I'm not going to take my life to the next level until I figure this out. Now we have come to that realization that, especially after going through multiple case studies, People who made big in short time, either they had the money or they had the right mentorship or they already had the background. The skill, the offer that they are giving is solid and sorted. They were doing it for years. Or they were in some sort of marketing experience that they know how to market and sell. Or they had the money to get it done. Or they were tech savvy. What about people who didn't have any of these things? We fell into that category. I tried setting up my system, setting up my all the techs, running ad. I failed miserably, and I was so scared. I turned off my ad. I don't want to burn any further money because I didn't have that money. I was spending the money which I didn't have. On the other hand, when I see entrepreneurs who are legends right now, in fact, they told that they didn't do it overnight, but the results were felt like overnight. When I did my research, I understood they were doing this for ages and now they got the result. Whatever they experienced over a period of a decade, they compiled it and they are right now giving so that someone can fast track their results. So, entrepreneurship was a different level of disappointment. But the best part about you and I is, I think, our determination to figure things out. Our determination that I'm not settling down for mediocrity. The determination that I'm born for greatness. If I don't have the skill, I'll figure out a way to get the skill. So, probably that determination is what is keeping us going till now. And slowly we are figuring out our own way. What worked for us is we learned from multiple mentors, but there were few things we couldn't resonate. There were few things we tried, it didn't work for us. Probably we were not doing it in the right way that they were sharing, or something was missing. We didn't know. What we did, on the other hand, was we took the best pieces or the pieces that we resonated from multiple mentors and we created our own unique path right now, which has started showing the magic, I believe. I would like to leave here, Surya.
No, while you were sharing, I'm just contemplating, and I honestly am in that situation where I don't even know what to say. At this point of us recording, I have submitted my papers yet again, as usual, just because I felt that I need to work on myself yet again, as usual. Now, especially looking at the last 7 years, personally for me, it's always been about what are the things that I don't want to do. That's what I've learned so far. And that is a pretty good head start to begin with. Now, the whole objective of doing these kind of episodes is if we are going through such challenges, I'm pretty sure that there are others in this world who are also going through the same set of challenges. And if we are able to somehow solve this, then we can probably leverage that and solve the same, help others also solve the same problem. The one thing that holds us back right now, if anyone would give me a magic wand and a wish, come on, Suryadeep, you have one wish. What would you wish for? My only wish would be if I have that bare minimum money coming in every month, which takes care of my personal expenses, just the needs and the needs of Yogeshwari, the needs of my family, the needs of Yogeshwari's family every month for the rest of my life. Something, if that is sorted, then everything gets taken care of. Now, can we say that we are in that zone right now? No. But can we figure that out doing what we love? That's pretty possible. And that is exactly precisely the reason why we are recording these episodes. So that 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the line, this is a proof of where we were and how far we have grown. And the fact that we have documented every step in the way for the world to go through. Is it scary? I will not say it's scary because I feel that I'm pretty good at managing my finances. If money keeps coming in, I can manage it like anything. And we still have enough bandwidth in which we can explore, experiment, work things out. A segment of it is what we will be covering in our next episode, where we will be talking a lot about AI and the way we communicate with AI, the importance of communication with AI. Different aspects of it is what we will decode, how we are using AI and everything. But today's episode was all about the culmination of our 17 years of experience in the corporate and entrepreneurship, breakdowns, breakthroughs, every single thing. To summarize, the only point that I'm able to come up with is there are no failures, there are no challenges, there are no obstacles as such. It's just learnings and what we do with it. We can either choose to succumb, cry, vent out, crib about it, or use them as a launchpad to create a breakthrough and help the world solve those same problems. So we have unanimously chosen the latter, and that's why we are here recording these episodes. That's what has been my biggest learning from this episode out of all the discussions that we've had. By the way, this is what we keep discussing even when we are talking to each other over phone or meeting, whatever it is. Okay, this is what keeps happening. It's just that we are documenting it because we know it is going to turn viral at some point of time. Yogeshwari, any insights that you would like to share? Anything that you would like to say to close the loop? And I would love for you to end the episode for us, if that's okay. Yeah.
So, after listening to us, if you are feeling that you're not alone in getting confused, getting derailed, wondering where your life is going, but there's an inner calling that says that you need to do something, congratulations. You are set for greatness. Listen to your inner voice. Your life doesn't have to be fitting in a template where go to school, go to college, get a job, get a wife, get settled, get a life, get a house, get a car, get children, get them married, get old, die off. You don't have to fit into this template if you don't want to. There are a lot of people who are okay in fitting into this template. There's nothing wrong about it. It's okay. It's okay to be like this. It's okay to be like that. And I am 100% sure people who are okay getting fit into the template are not here watching us. Not even one. If you are watching until now, which means you are a unique piece. You don't need a template. You are beautiful. You're born for greatness. You are born to make this world a better place. When you leave, you will leave this world a better place in some way or the other. So listen to your inner voice. All your life struggles are there for a reason. When you connect the dots, you would know. So don't wonder where are you going, where are you right now. Things will fall in place, puzzles will get filled up when you actually, when you are reflecting like this. And if you feel like Yogeshwari is so lucky she has Surya to do it, well, we invite you also. Just type in the comment, join our community. Let's reflect. Let's work on your life as well. With that, thank you so much for listening to us. Write down your one takeaway from this episode. Bye bye.